Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast with your host, Chris. I am that guy. I'm the one who I speak of. That's right. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 122. We've been in Triple Dig for a while, but it's still cool. I'm excited for today's guest. But before I get into that, once again, I would like to thank Comic Bento and 5-4 Club for doing a little sponsies. And, of course, you can sign up for those subscriptions in the link below, and I suggest you do it. Comics for the brain and the imagination. Clothes just to make you look good. That's pretty much it, because you gotta look good. Nowadays, you gotta look good. Back when my dad was growing up, well, they look good, but back when the cavemen, they didn't have to look good. Nobody cared. But now you gotta look good, and you gotta have an imagination. Comic Bento 5-4 Club, so go sign up. And and if you guys want to rate the show on Stitcher or iTunes, that would be awesome. I'm not forcing you to. I'm just saying if you want to. I would never ask you to do anything you don't want to, okay? But let me get into my guest today. It is, she's been on the show before, the very wonderful Jessica McKenna. And she's an improv actress, and she's on the show Party Over Here, which is on Fox. And everyone should go check that out on Saturday night. I did, and I enjoyed it. But you know what? Let's get into this episode. So, Chris, cue the music, please. Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Doing well.
I like how I set up as we've known each other for many years, and we went to school with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Go
exactly.
Way back.
Yes, way back. How's your day going so far?
Pretty good. I flew back from New Orleans. I'm currently driving in LA traffic. So a wild day, which is why I'm sorry I couldn't do Skype. I was like, I think I will still be en route.
Okay.
But here we go.
There we go. Okay, so now I have never driven in the Los Angeles area. How is it slow right now, bumper to bumper, or is it just kind of aggressively fast?
Not aggressively fast at all. I'm in like a little burst of about 9 minutes of bumper to bumper, but it was okay. It was pretty good before then, and we'll probably clear up in a second. And just like that area just right around all the freeways kind of coming together around downtown is just kind of always bad. But it's like not like, oh, I've been sitting in this for an hour. So manageable.
Right. Oh, okay. There we go. See, I was talking with some coworkers because I don't like to drive. I don't drive at all, but I don't like it. And I like to live in cities where I could walk anywhere I want. And that's why I think New York appeals to me. I don't know if I'd get along with LA.
Well, for me, I like, it is definitely something you have to just kind of like get zen about. But I think that it's ultimately, I lived in New York for a little bit, but I think I like the time that you get to yourself in the car. If you can like reappropriate it to be, oh, I'm like listening to a book on tape, I'm listening to a podcast or something, then I think it's just sort of, the traffic is bad, but I also don't have a 9 to 5, so I'm not like slogging in it every day, you know?
Yeah, there we go.
And I think that most people in LA are working like, well, maybe not most, but a huge chunk of people in LA are working not regular jobs, and so I think that does kind of break it up a little bit for a lot of people, but I just take back that time, you know? Try to have a good time with it. And for me, then it's like, whereas in New York, I feel like you never have time to yourself. You're always like with bodies.
Right.
Someone's always touching you.
There you go.
In a car, you're in your own little private bubble.
Yeah, there we go. And now I have this brought me to my first question, which I just thought up right now. If you had to work a 9 to 5, which job would it be?
I would probably still not do 9 to 5. I would probably like get into teaching, I would assume.
Okay.
Like done stuff like that, and I've gone up like at UCB at the Upright Citizens Brigade. I would probably do like weird amalgamation of teaching, but if I had to be like in an office,
yeah,
probably like maybe an ad company or something, or
okay.
I'm sure I could be some company's like fake social media strategist.
There we go.
pretend I know what I'm talking about.
Hello, I'm fake social media strategist. What can I do for you?
Exactly.
Oh, that is not going to trend, people.
I'm putting out a lot of good tweets for Wells Fargo.
There we go. They need it.
Yeah.
See, I would love to do an ad style, but I think my mind is so just drenched in Mad Men. I would just be kind of walking around saying, "Oh, this is like Mad Men, right?"
Yeah. Yeah, constantly assuming that you're going to be able to like have 3-hour lunches where you get a bunch of scotch and everything's a party.
Right, exactly. And then for some reason the work gets done magically. I'm not doing the work. I don't know who's doing the work, but it's getting done.
Yeah, once a month you just stay up all night with a brilliant idea, and that makes up for the rest of the days when you're just a crazy alcoholic, really.
There we go. Classic Mad Men. So I wanted to talk. So last time we chat, it was all about your origins.
Yeah.
And then now I feel like we can just chat. Unless there's a part of your origin you didn't tell me about.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Did I tell you about that time I got bit by a radioactive spider?
What?
What? Well, you know, every time there's a new, we have to go back to the origin story. So I don't, you know.
Yeah.
New takes on the origin story. But no, that's great. I'm happy to skip that part.
Okay. No. Now, I like how you brought up the radioactive spider. So, are you? I'm a fan of comic book movies. Are you a fan of comic book movies?
I am, and I think I have a little bit of like the freedom of I'm not a comic book fan.
Okay.
So I don't go in with expectations or like anxiety about someone ruining beloved characters. I just go in with like, great, this will be fun. I do tend to see I think I've seen basically every big comic book movie, and I enjoyed them. I think like I like the sense of humor of the Marvel world a lot. Like Deadpool is great, and I love Robert Downey Jr. is so hilarious as Iron Man in any iteration. So I think I really enjoy that because a straight up action movie, I don't know if that grabs me as much. But the comic book world, the stakes are different. They're fantastical, so I'm not like super sad for getting wrapped up in a dark terrorist plot. It's fluffy. It's usually like alien or robot based, I feel like, or other superhero. Actually, that was like what was shocking about Deadpool was the realness of the blood and violence. It took me like a little bit to adjust.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we're really going for this R rating, not just in the like sex and language, but like, oh right, we're gonna see that bullet go through 3 people's heads.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, that opening sequence is great, but it was like, ugh, I guess I should say spoiler warning, but it's been out long enough.
Yeah.
I feel like if you care about Deadpool, you've seen it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, because everybody at work has been telling me, "Oh man, did you see that Civil War trailer? And did you see Spider-Man?" And I'm just like, do we need another third Spider-Man? Like, do we?
Yeah, I get it. There is like the other side of it is there's so much, and
Yeah.
it is a bummer because I feel like it has definitely hurt the ability for an original idea to be made as like a big studio film. It's just like it has to be like a proven entity, a proven concept, a sequel, a franchise, and that's a bummer because I think that is what it's making for a less interesting studio movie situation.
Hmm.
And I'm a little over how many Spider-Mans I've had in my lifetime.
Right.
But and I'm actually not particularly excited for Superman versus Batman. So
How
I
dare
guess
you?
I mostly just like the Avengers and X-Men. I do love X-Men. And
Oh,
X-Men is the closest I have to any sort of history of liking the comics. I had like a brief period where I read X-Men comics. So I do love them the most.
gotcha, gotcha. Well, see, I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man because I think
Yeah, I thought he was good.
he's a phenomenal actor, and he could
He's such a
totally
good actor.
he can crush. Yeah, I mean, he did crush that role, but and I don't know why they have this obsession of making Spider-Man go back to high school again.
Yeah,
They just want him to stay young, I guess. I don't know.
I
Whatever.
think it's super weird. We've seen his origin too many times. I just want to see like a cool Spider-Man movie without. I don't need to see him get bit. I don't need to see his uncle die. I just want to see him out, swinging around.
Right. I feel like at this point the way we're going, Toby Maguire will be cast as Uncle Ben at some point in his career.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, see,
Or maybe as a villain.
yeah,
That'd be
there we
cool.
go. Yeah, he'll be I don't know. He'll be Toby Maguire,
This
but
would be like the most annoying conversation to listen in if you were like a super comic book fan. Oh my gosh, they're talking with no specifics.
yeah,
We're
it
taking it back. We're taking back the conversation. Get out of
exactly.
here, nerds.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
We're going
see,
to talk in vague, about vague opinions about this thing you love. That's how I feel if like someone was talking about Harry Potter but only saw the movies. It was just like, I don't
oh,
know. I feel kind of like, why do I even care about this wizard? I don't need to see him at the school anymore. Can't he be like out in the world just like kicking butt as a wizard? And I'd be just pulling my hair out.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it'd be funny if they did, so they do the big, action movie, whatever, and then they're like, you know what, for the sequel, we're doing rom com. Like
Yeah.
if what's his name, Die Hard, what's his name, uh,
Oh gosh. I don't know.
well, Bruce Willis, I forgot his character's name. If
Oh gotcha.
instead of getting into trouble, he was like trying to woo a girl and getting married. So John McClane, there we go. If
Nailed it.
I would see the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Totally.
it,
Well, Spider-Man 3 of the Tobey Maguire trilogy feels like an absolutely different movie.
oh yeah,
It's such a weird, like almost slapstick comedy. It's so bizarre.
I'm gonna go out on the record here and say the best part of that movie was the dancing scene where he's walking
Oh
down the
yeah,
street. I love that.
of course. It's so bizarre. It is like, and Spider-Man 2 was like pretty great, and I felt like kind of huge for the time, like kind of like a turning point in superhero movies at that point. It was
Hmm.
like, oh, this is really cool, and it wasn't the origin story, and so Spider-Man 2 was like this big high, and then to follow it up with just such a ridiculous, like, prancing down the street in eyeliner, like the weirdest, it felt insane.
Yeah.
I should go back and watch it. When I saw it, I was like too much, like, I was too outraged, but now I think I'd be like, oh, this is pretty great.
Uh,
This has its own delightful weirdness.
yeah, exact. I just remember seeing that and just being like, oh, okay, okay, I get it, I get it.
Yeah,
I like
I
that
get it.
scene. But
Yeah.
then I was talking with some people about Iron Man 3 and how I feel like it's my favorite movie of the three. The first one's still good, of course, but I just love how different it is, and I really love Shane Black in general.
Yeah, yeah. I loved 3. And yeah, I love Shane Black.
So yeah,
I thought
it's
3 was a party.
Exactly, yeah. And, a lot of people say, well, he's not Iron Man for a majority of the movie. It's like, well, he is, but, he's not. He's just not in the suit, but he's still being the lovable Tony Stark that we all like.
Yeah, I'd watch a Tony Stark movie over an Iron Man movie any day. I'd also watch Robert Downey Jr. do basically anything.
There we go. That's his next movie, Basically Anything, starring
Basically
Robert Downey
anything.
Jr.
I'll write the script. It'll just be him and I hanging out.
Yes. Can I be a boom operator?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I feel like a lot of people don't want to be a boom operator just because they have to hold the boom, but I'll do it.
Great. Yeah. Toss you in there.
And so how's the show going? Party over here.
Party over here has been a party.
Yeah.
We're done shooting, so now it's just like watching them come out. And it was such a fun process.
Mm-hmm.
It was really like kind of a dream. Working with Allison and Nicole was so great. I knew them both. Had done sketch with Nicole and knew Allison from around the scene. I knew all of the writers basically. It was like a small writer's room, so it was really great to feel like it wasn't a huge team working on it. It was kind of like, all right, great. I feel like it made for us having a slightly, like almost like a jump start on having a consistent voice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's still a lot of stuff that's, it's the first season of a show, but I think there was kind of already this thing where it was, we kind of have this tone that we're already hitting. And I think part of that was because we're all from UCB, so we have a shared vocabulary, and also we're just not pulling from 20 different people. It's only 5 writers and 3 performers plus 2 featured performers. So it just felt a little like we had a jump start on making it feel like our show.
Mm-hmm.
And The Lonely Island and Paul Scheer, along with 2 other executive producers and a great director. Everyone from like the top to bottom was just like so great to work with, including all of our boom operators.
Okay, good.
But it was a party, and I think they really wanted to get that feeling of that a live comedy show. So even when we did, so it's a combination of pre-tape pieces and stuff that's not live in the sense that it airs live, but it was shot in front of a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
And we only taped those pieces once or twice, maybe. So there is still that kind of like spontaneous feel. When the audience was at a taping, it only took like an hour as opposed to like a sitcom taping where you're there for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So their experience was really like coming to a sketch show at UCB or somewhere else around town. It really had that feel. We played off of the audience, which was helpful, I think, for all 3 of us coming from a live performance background, having that immediate feedback. And yeah, I'm excited that people can start seeing it, and would love to see if we could do more. It was shooting was January and February, so I've just been chilling.
There you go, hanging out in New Orleans and people invading your personal space.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And so when you're doing the show, when you were doing it, what did you have to pitch jokes or not jokes, sketches and stuff like that?
The writers' room started in the beginning of November, and I wasn't officially locked in until the end of November. But in December, I did go in a couple of times to pitch around or hear stuff that they were thinking of, or weigh in on oh yeah, that is like a character I would do, or that sounds great. Also, one of the writers in the room wrote for the sketch team that Nicole and I were on, so she was already pretty familiar with our strengths. But Allison wrote a few pieces, and Nicole had some, pitches, but was working on another show. So it's definitely written by those 5 writers mostly. I would say that there was some freedom to play around with stuff. They were always really open to hearing how we thought about stuff, and would send over drafts hey, does this sound good? We're thinking of you for this part. Do you feel comfortable with that? Is it something you feel like you'll be good at? Having that in mind. And then in addition, my writing partner and I wrote 2 songs for the show, one of which will be a music video, like a full music video, and the other one was shot in one of the live shows. So that was the other side of my writing experience with it, which was a great, super stoked to have that opportunity, especially having looked up to The Lonely Island and have them sort of give the stamp of approval that we got to do our musical comedy stuff. That was like definitely a huge, that was just so exciting. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, it was, I mean, it was like really a dream job. It was like so fun, and everyone I trusted, and it was really great. So I hope people like it, so that we can do some more dang shows.
Yeah. Well, see, I saw the first episode that aired, and I thought it was funny. I laughed. So I
Great.
definitely I definitely do want to see more. Was there something during the writing or the filming process where I don't know, you pitched a character or a sketch that just didn't kind of make the show that you would love to see on?
Gosh, I don't know. Kind of the only thing I can think of is I did, in the course of my sketch team at UCB, in our sort of run, I did play like kids a lot, and the writer Lauren McGuire, who's in the writers' room, she wrote one sketch in particular that I was like, oh, I feel like maybe we could use that character or bring that character into the show, and that didn't happen. So just like I like playing kids in general. It's not that specific idea, something else in that world, and I think that was something we sort of pitched around that a couple writers were like, oh yeah, maybe that'd be good. That never locked into any final product. So I'd love to come back and do some of that. I'd love to do more music stuff for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. There wasn't anything that like I pitched it and got crickets or anything. It just like died. But yeah, I would say, but you know, not because I am not capable of bad ideas, but just because I was only like in the room like 2 times, and it was mostly like them saying, hey, I was thinking about doing this character, and me being like, yeah, that sounds great. It's just so exciting to have people write for you, honestly, and have them try to tailor it to your voice, which I feel like was another thing that was exciting about the show. Was it wasn't just, you know, them writing premise sketches, and we're trying to bring their words to life, which is also a great way that collaboration goes, but it was a lot of them writing with the 3 of us in mind. And I think that was another reason why the show was strengthened by having a smaller cast, is that they're looking at the 3 women that they have and trying to like make sure they're writing stuff that we can perform well. And I think they were pretty amazing at that, of like making stuff that felt like that really feels like a Nicole character, that really feels like an Allison character, that really feels like a Jessica character, or this is a fun way to have the 3 of them interact together. And having that mindfulness from a writer's room is pretty empowering.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'm since you brought it up, like writing musical songs and stuff like that.
Nice.
How I'm so afraid I can't write lyrics to save my life. And if I am working with the Lonely Island crew, I would be afraid to do anything with music. What was the process of writing, you know, the songs that you did?
Well, I think when I first met with all the producers, and because I didn't go through a traditional audition process for the show, they had just sort of been scouting and watching people, and then brought me in, and I met with everyone, and they offered me the show, so which was crazy and exciting, and I didn't understand what was happening. But in that meeting, they kind of talked about, you know, the strengths that they saw and hoped that I could possibly bring. And so they had mentioned, you know, they were aware that music was part of my background. You know, they said even in that meeting, oh, we'd like for you and Zach to maybe be able to do a song at some point. And I was like, yeah, definitely. I would love that. And, you know, they hadn't watched all of my tape, and that includes a bunch of musical comedy stuff. So then they had seen that and kind of knew that that was something they wanted. And then I walked out of that meeting and ran into Andy Samberg, and he was like, I watched all of your music videos last night. Human Raccoon is ridiculous, at which point I probably died. So I think having that, also they listened and had to sign off on everything, but I wasn't like pitching it to the Lonely Island, which I probably would have been a lot more nervous about.
Yeah.
They did say though at one point they had not like a note, but one of the songs that we did that was live was a pretty fast rap song, and they were like, hey, just make sure they can actually perform this live because it's very fast, and like you can make it sound, you can have as many takes as you want on a recording, but just double checking that they can actually go this fast. And that was pretty exciting to be like, oh yeah, we can do it. And, yeah, we got it. So that song was really fun to perform. But yeah, I think it would be nerve-wracking if I was like in a room with them and pitching concepts and stuff and trying to get their read. But they were pretty supportive and pretty, they're very chill, nice guys. So I felt like I had that from moment one. It wasn't like me saying, hey, would it be cool if I wrote a song? So the fact that everyone was like, hey, we know this is something you do. Would you want to do it? I was like, yeah. One more way. It was such a fun process.
Yeah, and it kind of does take the pressure off because they're like, hey, we believe in you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Before you've done anything for this show, we think you could do this. Okay, great. Do it.
Well, right on. And so right now I'd like to give you the floor to talk about anything, if you want to plug anything. I don't know if you have any shows going on or that are on Fox, like Saturdays or something like that, but you can plug whatever you want.
Yeah, I would love for you to watch this show that we've been discussing, Party Over Here, Saturdays, Fox, 11 o'clock, or, your DVRs if you're out on the town, or if you're a sleepyhead, and it's all up on like Hulu and however you watch your Fox shows online. Also, we've been releasing like individual pre-taped sketches, like Party Over Here Twitter account, or is like a good place to find links to. You can just start watching sketches already. You don't have to wait for a full episode. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, you can see me perform live at the UCB Theater every Tuesday with a show called Tuesday Club, and every Thursday with a show called Magic to Do. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jess R. McKenna.
There we go. That's it. That's all you get, people.
No more plugs.
Before we go, I just want to say I was so bummed I didn't get to see the remaining episodes of Riot.
Oh gosh, yeah, thank you. I've never seen them. I don't know if anyone's ever seen them.
I enjoyed that show so much, and I love the fact that at one point Tom Green was known for being wild and zany, and he had to control Andy Dick. That just made me laugh.
Yep, pretty amazing. That's definitely a highlight from that experience. Pretty great.
Well, Jess, I'll let you go. Do fun and cool stuff, and continue driving.
Thank you.
Now, quick question: are you listening to the Drive soundtrack?
No, but I wish. That's a really good one.
Yeah, you
put that on sometime.
You might do some bad things.
When I can go fast, I'll put that on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in a dark place, Drive soundtrack.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, you have a wonderful day, and like I said it before, I'll say again, you can come back on anytime you want, all right?
Well, thanks, man. You too. With a good one. You go on your podcast all the time.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.